What's going on, Browns Nation? We don't call us Browns Nation. We call us the Dog Pound. And over there sipping his tea is one Dontea Dawson, another Cleveland Browns fan. Maybe. Still? Question marks everywhere. The only not question mark we have is, we're going to jump right into it, is the Deshaun Watson's injury. It is confirmed Achilles will be out about 9 to 12 months if he undergoes a conventional Achilles repair, all depending on which way he takes it. He can go like a little bit of the Kirk Cousins route, to where after tearing his Achilles, he was back at training camp before the season was started. I think his injury was a little longer than Aaron Rodgers. Yeah,
just a little longer.
Yeah. So we'll see kind of how Deshaun recovers. And initially, Dontea, how did that hit you when you saw it happen?
Bro, I literally gasped. I went, like, the thing is, it's not like he was playing good and like it will make me sad. No, let me rephrase.
Okay.
This is sad. I mean, like, oh no, our season's lost. We're 5-1. We're 1-5. 1-6 now. So when he got hurt, it wasn't like no, we were playing so good. It was like did that just happen? Like, it's crazy because you can literally, you can see ACL tears too most of the time. Like, you could just see Achilles injuries. Like, my dude planted and you just seen that rubber band go boing.
And anytime you see a non-contact injury like that, the Odell, the Kirk Cousins, the Aaron Rodgers,
Teddy Bridgewater. You didn't see Teddy Bridgewater
in practice. Yeah. Mm-hmm. But anytime you see something like that, you're like, that's not good.
I do want to take 1 second and say, I know as Cleveland Browns fans, and I can speak for a lot of us, we have been extremely hard on Deshaun, and rightfully so. He's getting $230 million guaranteed. He should be playing better. But I'm going to be honest, man. This is a sad moment, man. Like, we have to remember that this dude is human. Regardless of, like, I've seen people saying, like, oh, he deserves this. He's a rapist. He SA'd girls. It's like, listen, man. Regardless of what he may or may have not done, because at the end of the day, he was never criminally convicted of anything. I'm not here to say he's innocent or guilty. But at the end of the day, when that happens, you gotta feel for the dude, man. Like, seeing him cry like that, like, he wasn't hurt. Like, he wasn't crying because he was in pain.
I mean, like, yeah, you guys see the thumbnail. I used a picture of Deshaun crying. I really don't even want to use that as it, but I kind of have to in a sense nowadays. But use it. But the human part of me is like, damn, I don't want to have this as like the picture for it, but it's gonna happen.
It's Everyone's the moment, though. You know. Yeah, I really feel for the dude, though. Now, the Browns, you're going to see it wasn't just him, because we're going to continue to look bad. I mean, DTR came in and looked worse.
2 picks.
And then Jameis came in for, a drive?
At that point, it didn't matter, but yeah. I mean, it could have mattered. We still could have somehow won the game, but it didn't matter.
Yeah, now it's like, I'm going to echo the same sentiments that I've been saying. Sell the farm, bro. I'm telling you.
Miles?
Yes. Miles, Za'Darius, Newsome, Ward, JOK. I know that hurts.
JOK.
Maybe keep JOK, and you can build around him going into the future. Maybe you can keep Grant Delpit. They're young. Maybe keep Martin Emerson since they haven't been signed yet. He hasn't been signed yet. Flip everybody else, man. Load up on draft picks and pull the Oklahoma City Thunder.
Yeah, the difference in that is the NBA is you only put 5 people on the court, and you really only need 1 superstar to carry your team. In football, it's not like that. You need to keep the good players around you.
But you don't need to hit on 22 picks. You just need to hit. Move Wyatt Teller too. You just need to hit on a few good ones.
Might as well get Batonio out because he's older now, anyways.
I don't even know if he has value. You might as well just keep him.
I mean,
you could get a 7th-round pick for him.
You could get value out of him in a team that needs to win now that had an offensive line injury, maybe.
But what do you think? Do you honestly think it, like, what do you think? Like, is it rebuild, or you think, like, you can kind of go into this offseason and draft and piece together? Because the main reason I'm saying tank is because you don't have to pay rookies. We've got no money.
Yeah.
So you get young players on rookie deals, and now it's a little easier to kind of build that up slowly.
Before I answer your question, I know we talked about injuries and things like that. Currently, the Bucs are playing the Ravens, and Mike Evans just had a hammy injury to where he was already lingering with that, and then they still let him play. Terrible coaching decision. I don't know why they even let him play. You can see him on the sideline after he scored his first touchdown limping. Terrible play call. Or terrible coaching. Terrible letting him play.
And put him back in.
Yeah,
and
that's
put him back in.
Dumb. Anyways, it basically is rebuild. Nick Chubb, this is the end of his this is the end of his year, then he's going to be up for a contract as well. You're just going to let him walk, or are we going to pay him a lot of money for what? Because I know Deshaun Watson, no matter what, even if he's injured and can't play, the cap hits $72 million this year and next year. And that's according to Shefty. And, dude, it's...
I'm sorry to interrupt you. Did you see the tweet by Adam Schefter that I had to go and look and see if it was real? And it was real.
You pulling
Memento. Yes.
Yeah. So I mean, as you're pulling it up, it basically is rebuild time. You're 1-6. You're gonna have no hope this season. You have to win 11 straight games somehow to make the playoffs, and you're not gonna do that. The quarterback.
I'm fact checking to make sure this is real, because I did look for it and I thought I did find it, but I have to fact check to make sure it was real before I put this out. This is easily one of the most insane tweets I've ever seen in my life.
And quarterback wise, you're stuck with Deshaun for a couple more years. You're going to have to draft a quarterback. He's coming off. He's going to come off of an injury now. Most likely won't even be ready for week 1 next year. Most likely, that's the probability of it. You're going to go in. You're going to go into it with a Jameis Winston. I swore is on a 1-year contract with us. I don't believe, but we know Jameis is not the future of the Cleveland Browns. We've seen enough of DTR that DTR is not going to be the future of the Cleveland Browns. You haven't pulled up yet. You're still searching for it.
It was fake.
It was fake. Was it messed up? Good thing.
Unless he took it down, but it literally said, Deshaun Watson tore his Achilles today and will miss the rest of the season. His contract guarantees will still get paid since the injury happened during a game and not during a sexual assault.
Yeah, why would Schefter tweet that? I just don't think Schefter would risk his career on making a joke about Deshaun Watson.
No, but I'm just saying, what if that's a real clause that, like, if he gets hurt during a sexual assault, it would...
I think if he got caught with any sexual assault, the contract was probably terminated.
Imagine, though, tearing your ACL in the middle of a sexual assault. I'm sorry.
Yeah, I mean, it would be messed up. It would be messed up.
I'm going to mute myself.
But, I mean, I agree that we should have a rebuild. At the same time, I don't think we should sell all of our assets. I know.
Okay, so not complete and total rebuild. You're not down to gut everything.
No, because think about it. What happened with the Texans and CJ Stroud? I know that's kind of an anomaly, but the Texans had Davis Mills. I don't know. Same. It doesn't matter. And their team wasn't great when he got there. They played better than what their roster showed, and then guess what? This year they put more and more pieces around them. We've been saying this for how long? We're 1 quarterback away from being a team like that. And we've had a decent defense. I think we can replicate still a top 10-ish defense going into next year, as long as you keep good assets and good pieces. Nick Chubb looked all right. I mean, you can't really tell with this offensive line, but the main key issues that you need to work forward and towards on in the future is the offensive line, quarterback, offensive line, wide receivers.
Yeah, I agree with what you're saying. I've said this numerous times, but I do trust Andrew Berry. I would love if you could, maybe, I know it might not be, maybe I should have told you to do this before. I would love for you to pull up Andrew Berry's, like, since his tenure started, who has he drafted? So I guess we can kind of just look at the year and then look at who he's drafted. I'm sorry, that should have been something we should have prepped for, but it just came to my mind. My apologies. At the end of the day, I trust Andrew Berry. And I guess you can say with more picks comes more room for error, right?
Yep.
So if he has a whole slew of draft picks because he's moved everybody, you have more opportunities to miss there. You know, and you can afford to maybe take some risk that you miss on as well, you know. But I do think Andrew Berry can do a Texans, and it's funny we're talking about the Texans because that's literally who put us in a situation. We put ourselves in a situation, but it came from the Texans. I think Andrew Berry can do and replicate what the Texans did, drafting the proper quarterback, putting the proper pieces around him. But Kevin Stefanski also has to be that DeMeco Ryans who can coach a team that doesn't look that good on paper and coach them better than what they are. Because right now, he's not doing that. Not even close. He's got 1 win. 1-6.
Yeah, pretty rough. And Andrew Berry became the Browns GM in 2020, correct? That was his first year with the Cleveland Browns.
Because we made it to the playoffs that same year, right?
Yep. And with that, we'll start with the 2020 season, his acquisitions, basically. The 2020 draft, mainly Jedrick Wills and Grant Delpit were those out of the 2020 draft.
So let's just say we went 1 for 2 there.
Who we signed in free agency was Jack Conklin, Austin Hooper, Case Keenum. Those were our main signings in 2020. Then 2020.
I'd say we went 3 for 5 there. Case Keenum was a good signing.
Well, you mean in total? Yeah.
Yeah. Case Keenum, Grant Delpit, and Jack Conklin.
Yep.
Jedrick Wills, Austin Hooper, no bueno.
And we thought we paid Austin Hooper a decent amount of money too.
A good amount of money. We paid him to be an additional left tackle.
2021 drafted Greg Newsome, JOK, James Hudson, Tony Fields. Those were the main acquisitions out of that draft.
3 for 4.
Yeah. Who you saying? Newsome, JOK, and Tony Fields?
I mean, yeah, Hudson, I mean, I'm sure he wasn't probably a top 3 round pick, was he?
It doesn't say right here, but I doubt he was a a top 3 round pick. I would assume he was going to be like a 5th or 6th, maybe.
Yeah, and like 5th or 6th round picks, like you're not expecting him to be
4th
franchise.
round, 110th.
Yeah, that's not terrible. I mean, you could say 4 for 4 because it's a 4th round pick, but 3 of those players turned out to be players who produce. Tony Fields produces for us.
That free agency, we brought in John Johnson III from the Rams, Troy Hill, and Jadeveon Clowney. So we added to the defense. I mean, they all contributed to our defense that year.
All good defenders for us.
Now we'll move 2022. Drafted Martin Emerson, Perion Winfrey, which didn't turn out to be anything, and Cade York, which, I mean, we just traded him again. So we actually got something out of him after we released him and brought him back.
2 for 3, I guess. 1.5 for 3.
I'm just saying one. I'm one for 3 out of that one.
Okay.
And then off season, Jacoby Brissett. We'll take that. He played good as a quarterback for us. Jakeem Grant. He was injury riddled.
Yeah,
we didn't get anything out of him. Taven Bryan, just a bounce around guy.
Lineman, right?
Yeah. And Dalvin Tomlinson in 2023, not the 2022.
Dalvin's been great for us. Dalvin's been good for us.
So, I mean, with that, he did just sign. He got DeJuan Jones as well. Don't forget about that. And with the most recent years with Cooper, Zadarius, Dalvin, Mo Hurst, Shelby Harris.
And also trading Cooper for a 3rd-round pick and a pick swap while only giving a 5th-round pick for him. I mean,
while he's on a 1-year deal, when he's not going to resign, that was a good move.
Looking at everything Andrew Berry has done outside of the Deshaun decision, you can say that his tenure has been very good, very good. And the Deshaun situation, 10 out of 10 times, if you don't know this is the result, I think most people do that. Baker was coming off of a bad season, didn't look great. He was hurt. Deshaun was coming off of his best season before he was suspended. I think you do that move 9 out of 10 times. So looking at what Andrew Berry has done, I think you have to say you trust him to produce with draft picks and rebuild this team.
Yeah, I mean, of course, that's not all the draft picks that, he's made. Of course, I'm not going to go down the list of every single player we drafted in those years.
Right.
Because it's going to be 20 plus, 25 players.
Mm-hmm.
Especially with free agent. That's like 50 acquisitions that I'm just not going to run down the list. I do agree that, I think he's able to rebuild the team. That Deshaun trade kind of overshadowed every other thing that he did do.
Right.
And of course, that's the biggest position to fuck up in the NFL. So once you do that, it kind of puts you in the hot seat a little bit. So should he have said, hey, let's not get rid of this guy and keep him? Maybe. Maybe Haslam should have said that. Maybe Barry should have said that. Maybe Stefanski, when we know he wouldn't have said it, but maybe he should have said it. And now, off topic, we're building a brand new stadium. Hell yeah.
With no franchise quarterback to put in it. But Quinn Ewers, here we come.
We're going to get you a dome, Quinn. You don't have to worry about the cold snow anymore.
So on the same strength as a rebuild, but slightly different topic, I saw a Browns fan ask, out of the remaining schedule, how many wins do you see?
Pull it up.
So you don't have to go through it.
I think we should.
I'm going to... No, because I don't want to say what games I think we're going to win. I don't want to say what games I think we're going to lose.
We should go through
but
it.
I'm going to give you an over-under.
I'm looking at the games right now as you're telling me.
So I'm going to set the over-under at 4.5 wins. That is 3 more wins this year. 4 more wins, technically. Under. Okay.
I'm hitting under. I mean...
3.5. 3.5.
Under.
2.5.
Now that's the tricky part. Under.
So you think we only win 2 to 3 games total?
3's max.
I was going to say, because I think you got the Chargers there. That could be winnable. You got the Saints. That could be winnable. The Broncos. That could be winnable.
Yeah. Those are 3. And the Dolphins, but 2 is ride or die. He might be playing. He might be playing. But I don't see us beating the Ravens. I don't see us beating the Bengals again. And I don't see us beating the Steelers. That's 2, 4, 5 games left that I don't think we win. Like you said, Chargers, Saints, Broncos, Dolphins are winnable. But then we didn't mention we play the Chiefs as well, which I don't... the Chiefs as well. So, I mean, I think, 2 to 3 wins left, to be honest, for us. We're going to be battling out the Patriots for the most part, I think, in my opinion, to see how... who gets and the Panthers. It's going to be a 3-way battle.
I kept arguing with people. This is how in denial I am as a fan, and this is how delusional I am. About 2 weeks ago, people were like, "Yeah, man, you guys are going to have the number 1 pick." I was like, "Man, we ain't worse than the Panthers." Yeah, we are.
You think?
Yeah, bro. Listen, I firmly believe we are the worst team in the NFL. I do. I think we are the worst because I think we would be better with Andy Dalton than the Panthers. But they have Andy Dalton. Therefore, they're better. Their running game looks better. Their receiving core looks better. hell, our defense doesn't even look like the same defense.
Now here's the thing that we're going to see in the upcoming weeks for sure. We assume Jameis would most likely be the starter because I think DTR broken thumb is what he went out with. I don't know if he broke his thumb or something happened with his thumb.
Mm-hmm.
So we're going to see Jameis most likely start. We might sign another QB to come in as well on the roster. And these next couple of games are going to show us whether if it was really Deshaun or coaching, in my opinion.
I mean, I think Stefanski will feel more comfortable opening up the playbook just a little bit more.
That's because why? Why not open it up before?
Well, because Deshaun didn't have arm strength. Couldn't throw the ball downfield. He just couldn't.
He had enough for at least 20 to 30 yards. We weren't even throwing it 20 to 30 yards down the field.
Hey, listen, I would love for you to be able to Google how many times he's thrown 20 to 30 yards downfield. Now, if you look at it, a coach can coach differently with a backup quarterback. Why? There's no expectations. There's no expectation for Jameis Winston to come in and start winning the Browns games and make a playoff push. Would you agree with that?
Yes.
So now Jameis comes in, plays a little better than Deshaun, but the offense looks better. It just looks better. We'll lose a couple games, close, compete, battle. Now Kevin Stefanski doesn't look like such a bad coach. Right now, he looks like a garbage coach.
He does.
But he doesn't look so bad if he does that.
A couple of advanced passing stats for Deshaun. I know we did a TikTok a while ago about bad throw percentage with quarterbacks. I don't think you were there for that video. And like the on target percentage.
I watched it.
Yeah. And the drop percentage as well. 9.5% of his passes were dropped. He already had 20 drops on the year, which is a lot. His bad throw percentage, 15.2% of his throws were bad throw percentages, or were bad throws, which is actually, if you look it up compared to other QBs that we had in the video, not terrible.
Not that bad.
Not that bad.
Well, because when you're dinking and dunking, how many of them can be bad throws?
Yes and no, but I will say he was hit 36 times this year so far, pressured 83. That is 30.7% of snaps. He was either pressured. He was pressured. 30.7% snaps. 30.7. Did I say that? Okay. Percent. That's how many, dude. 1/3 of your plays you're getting hit every time. Every pass play. 1/3 of every pass play. Like, that's not just every play, every pass play.
Yeah. Every 3 times I draw back, at least one of those 3 times I'm being pressured or hit.
And that's and we'll see if that continues for Jameis and DTR. I mean, but as I'm looking right now, I really don't see a stat with 20 plus yards down the field or anything like that.
Right.
With Pro Football Focus. I think it's on NFL.com, but you know, either way, we definitely know that Deshaun has missed receivers and has not thrown to receivers that were down and open down the field.
So I've seen a lot of people asking, so I'll ask you the question, even though he does have an entire year left on his contract. A lot of people said they think not only is this, they think this is his last snap in a Browns uniform. People think that's his last snap as an NFL quarterback. So I'll reel it back in just a little bit. Do you think that's his last snap in a Browns uniform? Like, at that point, do you think they're like an Achilles, shoulder, he's been bad, the sexual assault allegations? Do you think they just look at that contract and just say, yeah, this is the perfect time to eat it now? Now it doesn't look so bad eating it. It doesn't look like we just absolutely, even though we did, this is a blunder, we missed, bad decision. But now with Achilles injury, shoulder surgery, I think he only played a total of 17 games for us.
So, as you were talking there, I did pull up. He has 11 completions for 20 plus yards, 0 for 40 plus yards. That's those 20 plus yard completions. That's the lowest out of anybody on the first page of the NFL passing stat leaders. In that 0, that's less than everybody. But granted, Kyler Murray only got 1. Bo Nix only has 1. Jaden Daniels only got 1. Geno Smith got 2. There's a lot of Baker Mayfield's only got 2. That's not including tonight. So there's a lot of players that don't have a lot of the 40-plus yards. But
well, Deshaun has the same amount as me and you.
He does. And I don't know. That question that you gave me, I really don't know if that's the last time we see Deshaun Watson. Mainly for the fact of, if we do draft a quarterback high, maybe we want Deshaun to come in again to say, hey, this is your one and last and only chance. And if you stink, the rookie comes in. Similar to what the Patriots did. I mean, they knew Jacoby wasn't the future, but they were giving Drake May that time to get everything collected and together.
That's what we did with Tyrod. Tyrod came in and played, I think, 3-4 games before Baker finally came in.
And Baker started off hot and won Rookie of the Year.
Yep, played very well. Broke the rookie record for most passing touchdowns.
And then got broken by Jay Herbo. But
yeah,
at the time, we had it. I think we will see Deshaun again in a Browns uniform on the field. I don't want to say that's sad to say, but I know a lot of Browns fans don't want to see that.
No, they don't. Trust me. I've been on Twitter the last couple of days.
But
they are preying on my boy's downfall.
Unless there is like we said, an allegation or something that comes out that voids that contract, then I could say, yes, no, you're not going to see him because we're out of that money now. You're paying that dude that much money, you're going to try to suck every last bit that you can out of him. All right. You pause. You know what I mean, brother.
Lord, you almost got a sexual assault case there.
They're trying to suck everything out of Deshaun right now. All right.
Yeah, man. I guess my last question is just, where do we go from here? I mean, listen, I know I've said this as well. You know, this has kind of been repetitive because the season's going the same way. But listen, we've had some success over the last couple of years. But let's not forget that Deshaun's first year, I'm pretty sure we won 6 games. I think we went 6-11.
Yep.
Let's not act like it wasn't that long ago when we were 4-12, 1-15, 0-16. Like, those days weren't that long ago. Less than 10 years ago. Hello, darkness, my old friend. We're back. It is what it is, man.
I think, what we do now, we just wait for the draft. Like we usually did every year. For the most part, it didn't happen this soon, I don't think, because we usually had a young QB that were like, all right, there still might be hope, right? We usually had that hope in whatever quarterback we had. I'm looking at a lot of mock drafts. A lot of them have the Patriots securing that number 1 pick and taking Travis Hunter or like an offensive tackle with Will Campbell in there. The Browns, I see some of them at number 2, 3, and outside the top 3. Either taking Cam Ward. Some of them have us taking Jason Graham, a defensive lineman from Michigan. That won't happen. A wide receiver from Arizona. That ain't going to happen. We're probably going to take a quarterback. And if we don't...
We are taking a quarterback.
If we don't...
Unless there's some weird world where we call up the Vikings and we trade for J.J. McCarthy, and I just keep going back to that situation because Darnold is playing out of his mind, and they're somewhat in like a 49ers position.
Win now.
Or unless they decide to be like, hey, you know what, let's take a stab at Trey Lance. Let's see if we can trade a 5th rounder and see if Trey Lance can be a good quarterback for us. You know what I mean? Like, something like that, I can see maybe being in play, but like, Trey Lance has probably played less games than Deshaun has played in the last 3 years. Like, I don't think Trey Lance has played a total of 16, 17 games in 3 years.
No. And I mean,
so it's like,
do you do that all in the middle of the season though?
I mean, I can see them doing that draft time. That way you get him, and then that first overall pick, you trade back, get a line, you know what I mean? Do something weird. Like, I wouldn't do that. I'm just going with the best quarterback available, whether that's Cam or Quinn. I don't know, but
yeah, I mean, a lot of us, or a lot of these mock drafts have Shador at 2, Shador at 1, Jalen Milroe at 2.
I'm off of Milroe. I'm off of him.
A lot of them, I don't see any other. All right, NFL mocks, whoever they are, they have Carson Beck going number 1 to the Titans.
Titans ain't worse than us.
No, they ain't. A lot of them have Shador going to the Cleveland Browns, and I've seen people on the internet talk about this. Do you think Big Papa is going to let Shador go to the Cleveland Browns? That's the question. He might look at the Cleveland Browns and be like, that is a terrible organization. You are not going to go there. We're going to pull the Eli Manning here.
That's a tough question, man. Because
I
you
could see that
know,
happening.
I mean, you know, when you're a top 5, 7 draft pick, you're not going to a good situation. The Browns have just been historically known to absolutely destroy that quarterback's career. Now, granted, we never make the right decision. Like, you can look back at all the quarterbacks we drafted, and most people look at it and like, why'd you take that guy again? Brady Quinn wasn't supposed to be good. Brandon Whedon was my age right now. Colt McCoy, okay, he was supposed to be good.
Yeah.
You know,
I mean, there were still hopes he made it throughout the league as a backup. So that gives you some like, oh, he wasn't absolute terrible. Like a Deshaun Kaiser.
Deshaun Kaiser was splitting carries at quarterback for Notre Dame. He wasn't even the full-time starter. It's like Archie Manning and Quinn Ewers just playing every other game right now. That's what that would look like.
They might have to. They just lost.
I mean, it's Georgia.
Yeah, I mean, yeah, it's Georgia.
But I'm going to be honest, man. I do like Shador, but I think Quinn and Cam were on my list ahead of him anyways. I'm not sure. Okay. Stay tuned for my mock draft this year, guys.
Yeah, I mean, you had one last year. I think your over-under for players in the first round were like way too low. So we got to up the ante on that one a little bit. We had it at like 14.
Dude, that was hard, bro.
We had it at like 14 and a half. You hit like 22 or 23 of them. So, I mean, you would think the first draft is easy to predict who's going to get drafted in the first round.
It is so hard. One trade and it cooks everything.
It is, yeah, it is tough. And I think we had an over-under for Dontea of the correct picks and what team they were going to go to. That one.
What did I get, like 7?
Maybe 7, because you got to think.
I think I got like the first 4.
After Penix goes to the Falcons, that kind of
destroyed everything.
That just made everything kind of from there go crazy.
I think I got like Neighbors, Harrison, Joe Alt, and I think I maybe had the first overall pick right. But other than that,
I don't think you had Joe Alt and Harrison right. Because I think you had Harrison going to the Chargers and Alt going later down the line.
I had Joe Alt going to the Titans. You're right. I didn't even get those 2 right.
Yeah, and you would think like those might have been the ones. I think we got a little lucky with some of the picks. But I mean, for the Cleveland Browns, for the AFC North, I don't know how the Ravens are looking right now. I guess I'll look that up as we're speaking.
They're in the lead currently. They're up, I think, 2 or 3. 17-10
at halftime currently.
7.
So they did start slow and then put up 17 points in the second quarter. So they did have a little bit of a comeback. Like we said,
legit.
As we said, yeah, the Ravens are the team to beat. Steelers now. Hey, Russ. Shout out to Mike T. That was a tough coaching decision to make. I think he made the right one. It looked like he made the right one so far.
Yeah, I sent out a tweet, way too early prediction, and I said, all right, Russ, we've seen enough. Put Justin back in. And then I said, I apologize. I was unfamiliar with your game, Russell.
I mean, you got to think he hasn't played a game in 10 months, and of course, there's going to be a little bit of rust. I know everyone.
Quarter to warm up.
Everyone knows that screen bubble, whatever he threw behind the receiver. That's when everyone was like, "Oh my god, this guy's terrible." It was the RPO, and he just threw in the dirt behind the receiver. They're like, he is not good. Russ is still good. Like I said last year on the Broncos, he's good. He just didn't have a really good team around him.
He still threw for 3,600
and 28-6. Like that is
yeah.
The Browns would take 28-6 as a shitty receiver or a shitty quarterback. A lot of teams would take that.
Russ right now. I would trade Myles Garrett for Russ right now. Just kidding.
Oh, the Steelers would probably. They might. I don't know. They wouldn't do that.
Nah.
They already have good. They already have a good D line.
Let's make it a deal with the devil. They wouldn't do that.
No. But Steelers, shout out to them. George Pickens is maybe a top 10 wide receiver once he gets a good quarterback with him. We'll see. He's been making insane catches. Insane.
I got lucky. I'm gonna still be a hater.
Some of them were crazy, but I'm still gonna be a hater too. Fuck the Steelers. Fuck the Ravens. Fuck the Bengals. They just beat us, and we're gonna play the Ravens next week. Any closing remarks? I mean, it's gonna be the yap sesh every week about who the hell we want drafted for the Cleveland Browns and how our backup quarterbacks are playing, basically.
Yeah, I got no closing remarks, man. Hey, we're here, guys. No need to sulk, I do want to pose one question. I was kind of thinking of a title here. Should Kevin Stefanski be on the hot seat? Is this Deshaun's last game? Was this Deshaun's last game as a Brown? A couple good titles, but I did see a lot of people saying it. And I'm just wondering once again, is Kevin Stefanski or should he be on the hot seat? I still say no. I still don't think so. I still don't.
It's definitely a questionable one. He's never had since he's been with us, he's never had a healthy quarterback for a whole season.
We've talked about that, but listen, Ron Rivera was also let go after being a 2-time coach of the year. That's all I'm going to say.
I mean, yeah, coaches definitely are let go a lot. I mean, it's more of a what have you done for me lately when it comes to head coaches. So, I mean, look what happened to Mike Vrabel. I don't think he should have been let go. What the hell happened with that? But they let him go. Pete Carroll. I mean, Seattle's playing good, but Pete Carroll's not a terrible coach either. It's a what have you done for me lately? And if you aren't living up to whatever expectations they have, get booted.
Doug Peterson in Philly. Andy Reid in Philly.
I'll take back Doug Peterson. I don't think he's that great of a coach. I said in one of our videos. Super Bowl.
I feel like that should earn you some time.
I think you got lucky. A little lucky.
Yeah. But when you beat Tom Brady, it makes it look way better.
Tom Coughlin beat Tom Brady with the Giants. That old head.
Twice. Damn it. Forgot about the balloons.
I didn't know if that was a piece or a goodbye or twice.
No, that was 2 times.
But we can hit him with the goodbye now. Thank you guys for tuning in. We did yap for way longer than what we thought we were going to. But hey.
We're passionate.
When we're passionate fans about the Cleveland Browns being 1-6, we just got to yap a little bit. Thanks for listening to us yap. Hit the comment section. Answer Dontea's question. What should the Cleveland Browns do? Is Kevin Stefanski on the hot seat? Is this Deshaun Watson's last game as a Cleveland Brown? Who knows? Comment, like, subscribe. We'll comment back to you. We love you. Peace out. Go Baker Mayfield.